Hi, I'm Val White, and welcome to Use the Good China, Darling, a workshop I designed specifically for you to embrace using beauty in your everyday life. Because why wait for a special occasion when you are the occasion? Now, whenever I sat down to think about this, why did we start saving the china for the good special occasions, for when we had special company coming over, or a special holiday, or whenever the great aunt Martha came to visit us, right? Why did we start doing that? Well, historically, our ancestors might not have had a lot of money to have multiple sets of things. So they might have just had one set of formal clothing, and then they had their everyday clothing that they would wear to do their work around the house. And then they would save their one special formal set of clothing for usually Sundays when they would go to church. It was reserved for worship and for going out in the community. Or they would reserve their special set of china for their holidays. Because in that time, maybe they reserved it for those special occasions, because if there were to be a plate that broke or a glass that broke, there really was no way to replace it. And so reserving it for the special day was actually practical. Maybe your grandmother reserved those dishes because if they broke, she couldn't replace them. Or maybe your great-grandfather reserved his finest suit because that was the only suit he owned. And so he reserved it for Sundays, going out to worship. It was a sign of respect. But there's another layer to that. It was also a sign of social standing. And so whenever you would wear your Sunday best out to your church or out into a social event, you were actually signaling to others a sign of status or where you stood socially. And so we kind of learned that by saving the best for going out, we're saving the best things in our life for when we're observed or seen by others. So not only clothes, but dishes as well. The good china was for when our extended family would come over, or when you would have the pastor over for a special dinner. So the good china came out whenever it was going to be observed, whenever it was going to be witnessed. Now, many of us have inherited that kind of scarcity mindset without really understanding why, or without really understanding or inheriting the same circumstances. We have inherited this mindset of saving something for a special occasion or saving something for later. We've inherited a mindset of postponement. Saving the wonderful candle that's still in its box, or the nice perfume, or the linen napkins, or a journal. Can I tell you how many journals we have in our house that are beautiful, bounded leather journals that have not a word written in them, because we're saving it for, I want to take that to like the perfect occasion where I'm going to take notes and that. But really, what are we saving it for? So that we can take it out when others are around to witness it. So what began as preservation and practicality has now become postponement. And there's a very powerful distinction. So through all of this conditioning, it became clear to the subconscious that beauty is for being seen, luxury is for special occasion, and effort is for company. So that begs the question then, what do we do when no one's watching? Do you still deserve the flowers? Do you still deserve the candlelight? Do you still deserve the beautifully laid table? Or have you unconsciously learned that beauty is a performance and not a form of self-respect? So here's where it gets really interesting. There's a term called neuroaesthetic, and without becoming too scientific here, what this is the discussion of how beauty affects your nervous system. Right? So all of your surroundings, your environment actually affects your nervous system and lets your body know whether you feel safe or not. But not only safe, worthy. It actually comes down to a conversation about self-worth. So the nervous system doesn't discern whether something is precious and you're saving it because it's precious. Maybe it's something that you inherited from your great-great-grandmother, and if it were to be broken, there's not a replacement for it. Or if you aren't using it because you consider yourself unworthy of using it. So if the nervous system is listening all the time, which it is, and you aren't using the good china, not because it's precious, not because it really means that much to you or that it's even that valuable, But because you're saving it for a special occasion, what you're actually doing is telling your nervous system that I'm not worthy of that. We'll save that for somebody else. We'll save that for when somebody's watching or for when somebody else comes, because they're more deserving of beauty. They're more deserving of ritual. They're more deserving of the fine china, the great candle, the good journal, the good dishes, the good clothes, right? So it's not about performing. It's about telling your nervous system, I'm worthy of doing those things even when no one's watching. So our ancestors preserved the good china because life was uncertain. We saved the good china because we've forgotten that we are the occasion. Somewhere along the line, we started to believe that we had to save the good clothes, the good china, the good things in life for special occasions, for holidays, for company, for whenever those things would be seen or observed by others. But what if a Tuesday morning was a simple of enough occasion? What if lighting a candle for your dinner of just you were special occasion enough to break out the good china, to use the good candle, to wear the nice outfit, to use the linen napkin? What if you were the special occasion?